Hey everybody, my name is Matthew Sambanis. I'm a certified public accountant. My firm is based in Long Island, New York. And in today's video, we are going to discuss Chipotle and how it's going downhill. Normally, I discuss economics, finance, investing in the stock market, making money, and other things of that nature. So if you're into that, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any comments, please leave them below. So, give you a little bit of background. I recently went into Chipotle. I was kind of out of town. I went a few towns over, a little bit of a hike, and I was starving. So I went to Chipotle, if we want to call it that, because I don't know if they're cheap, stingy, frugal, whatever the right word is, and maybe greedy. So we'll go through everything. But long story short is I ordered a burrito, and before I knew it, when I was leaving, signing out, paying, my bill was $20. $21 to be exact. As a matter of fact, $21.02. To the point you can't even make that up. So I was absolutely dumbfounded. And I remember when Chipotle first opened, there was lines around the door, out of the door as a matter of fact. And I used to get a burrito, and I mean, it would literally require 2 wraps. And the other thing about those 2 wraps is I didn't get charged for a second one because the first, they just knew that they did such a good job stuffing you, taking care of the customer, making sure you were well fed, that they went above and beyond and didn't charge you a stupid paltry fee to make more money, which is not greed. It is the right thing to do, right? That's the business's job, to make money. But at some point, enough is enough. So we're going to run through it. And let's get into my bill first. So I got a steak burrito, and this is in Long Island, New York, by the way. So we're, all right, fine, everything is pricey here to begin with, but it was $11.50. Then I got guacamole, $2.85. Then I got queso blanco, $1.60. And I got a large soda for $3.40, the total being $19.35 with tax of $1.67. So that totals $21.02. Had I known it was going to be that much, I wouldn't have gotten all the extra toppings. I guess I could have paid other attention, whatever. I'm, at fault. I'm responsible. But at the end of the day, I'm thinking $15 at most. Like, that's what this should have been at the absolute most. Probably $12 is more reasonable. And I'm not going to run into it, the breakdown of it, but, this is just pure insanity. And, Chipotle, in my opinion, is not just Chipotle who's, giving you smaller portions, shrinkflation, charging more and more, paying the CEO $22 million a year. Chipotle, who earned... after that, $2.5 billion in gross profit, and paying the CEO, $440,000 every week, or $11,000 hourly, assuming he works 40 hours a week, which I'm more than sure he doesn't. I'm sure he's more than entitled to it. He's generating $2 billion in profit. So that's a small portion, in my opinion, for what he should be getting paid. But at the end of the day, you don't need to overcharge people. And listen, I understand everything's gone up. Inflation has caused the prices of everything to go up. Labor's went up. But again, going back to what I was saying is enough is enough, And, so we have higher prices, smaller portions, shrinkflation, and I bet you if they can, they're looking for cheaper ingredients. And, I noticed a while ago that Chipotle prices were going up to the point where I'm like, I'm not going here anymore. So it begs the question, is it quantity or is it quality? I used to go to Chipotle a couple times a week, happily, and I knew I was getting a good meal. Sometimes I'd get 2 meals out of it if I wasn't too hungry. Meaning I'd have leftovers, but from there, it's like a novelty now, just like McDonald's and Burger King is $18 for a Happy Meal. And how did we get here? We got here through inflation, but listen, also in my opinion, greed, right? A business's job is to make as much money as humanly possible. But when I'm expecting fast food or semi-fast food, come on. I mean, yes, you need to make as much money as possible. And, so when you beg the question, how much money do you need to make? The answer is how much as possible. But at the same time, where do you draw the line between serving the shareholders and screwing your customers? And that's what they're doing now. And The CFO recently came out and said we raised our rates and we've continued to raise our rates and we're watching foot traffic and it hasn't decreased. But when I go into the stores, which is very few and far between now, the lines aren't anything like they used to be. And all right, fine, you could attribute that maybe to mobile ordering, but also the service has gone down. The cleanliness of the business has gone down, and, the workers don't seem to be as happy as they used to be. And, ultimately the shoe's got to drop, or that famous thing, called karma, right? So I did find an article from the NY Post, which I thought was pretty good. I'm going to dive through some of it. By the way, if you feel like I'm missing something, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. So anyway, the name of the article is Why We're All Suddenly Over Chipotle and Why Hating on the Chain Probably Won't Make a Difference. It's not going to make a difference. It will eventually, right? Eventually it will. If enough people don't go there, but first thing he points out is the value for the money when Chipotle first opened. You would get a burrito the size of a basketball, right? And you really don't get that, but you got close to it, and you were a happy customer, and you were blown away by it. It's something that you could upload to Instagram or whatever and say, look at what I got. But they don't have that anymore. They try to serve you the smallest amount of portions possible, charge you for everything humanly possible. If you get steak and chicken, they charge you just for steak, even though you only got half and half, and they gave you the equal amount of portions. I mean, charging me how much for queso, which literally costs pennies, $1.60 for queso blanco? Come on, that should be 30 cents, 55 cents, $1 at most, 95 cents, something reasonable. $1.60, take a hike, and guacamole, $2.85. Come on, I could buy a bag of 6 guacamoles at Costco for $5. So how much is it really costing you? Pennies. And, again, you feel the need to overcharge and be greedy. And yes, your job is to be greedy, but it's also to have returning customers so they don't go somewhere else. Like when I went to Cava last night and I spent $15. I got 2 meals out of it, and it's good, healthy food. Anyway, why is Chipotle going down? Shrinking portions, sky-high prices, and viral outrage over both have become the norm, and that's ruining the party. Nobody was surprised when a video of unhappy customers losing their minds at a California location of the chain cropped up on the internet just a few days ago. So apparently there was a big outburst. I'm not really sure what happened. California is a state that I'm going to be doing a few videos on, definitely one video, if not 2 or 3 in the next few weeks. So if you're into that and some more possible comedy, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm sorry to keep asking you that. Anyway, portions definitely have a great deal to do with brand slippage in recent years, the same thing that made Chipotle so great. The customizability of your meal has now become a problem, as employees regularly trigger customers with half-empty bowls, rice is literally pennies, beans is literally pennies, lettuce is literally pennies, all right, fine, you're paying for a dead animal, steak, chicken, I understand that's gone up, but you've raised your prices, and you've raised your prices far beyond the pace of inflation. Anyway, recently, apparently, influencer and food critic Keith Lee came out, where customers will now, as a result of him, customers will film Chipotle workers fill in an order to make sure they get what they want, or else it goes viral and they complain. So it's just been a nice way, of extorting people. And apparently Chipotle supposedly is taking notes saying, give more if they're filming, right? They don't want the bad rep. But if they're aware of it, then they should know about it and they should correct it. And what's the right thing to do? Well, the right thing to do would probably be deflation. Lower your prices, right? Or give more of a quantity. For $20, like for one guy, like I should get 2 or 3 meals out of that. Instead, I got one whole meal and like a quarter, because I did have a little bit left over for later. But again, I was starving a few hours later. And so I ate the literally like tail end of the burrito. This is insanity to me, by the way. Anyway, the menu is pretty much what the menu has been forever. I'm not going to knock it. I'm a proponent of 2 things. I'm a proponent of if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I'm a proponent of if it's fixed, break it and make it better. leading customers to put in, and another issue is the inefficiency. I mean, the lines used to be out of the doors. It has gotten much better, but I also think that that's due to a decline in foot traffic. They can blame it on mobile orders too. Another complaint has been the lack of emphasis on dining room cleanliness is practically an epidemic within the chain. And, the list goes on and on. I'm not even going to talk about what happened a bunch of years ago with the E. coli and the salmonella. What I do think is absolutely crazy about that is 1,100 people were made ill eating at the restaurant between 2015 and 2018, leading the company to be levied a $25 million fine by the government. I mean, they feed millions upon millions of people a year. They do good stuff for the community. So yes, they're overcharging. Yes, they're underserving. Yes, they're probably looking for cheaper ingredients, or have been factoring them in, or finding ways to make their food cheaper and of a lower quality, in my opinion. I mean, but at the end of the day, to fine $25 million over 1,100 people is also psychotic. The government's also out of control. Part of the reason wages are so high is because of taxes. That would be another video for another day, but tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm right. Let me know what you think. I reply to all my comments. Sometimes it takes me a little bit, but I do. If you've watched this far, I'm greatly, greatly grateful. And hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks.